Good afternoon. This is Dottie Lofstrom. I'm the Chair of the Civil Service Commission. This is Wednesday, November 8th at 2:30 p.m., and this meeting is now in order.
Thank you, Dottie. Roll call. Commissioner Lofstrom.
Present.
Commissioner Gutierrez.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
And Commissioner Rillapan has let us know that he's going to be just a little bit late.
Okay, thank you. We will move forward with the minutes. I assume you have all read them. Does anyone have any comments on them? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
The motion to accept. I'll second the motion.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed say no. Okay, the meeting minutes have been approved and passed, and we are ready to move on to our first project.
Good evening, Molly Boonslet for Human Resources. This is for classification project 23-022 for the Agricultural Commissioner's Office. Each of the California's 58 counties is mandated by the California Department of Food and Agriculture to have an Agricultural Commissioner's Office, which is a regulatory body responsible for the enforcement of laws and regulations to protect and support the agricultural industry. The Agricultural Commissioner's Office is comprised of two divisions, Agricultural and Weights and Measures. The Agricultural Division enforces pesticide laws and regulations, certifies agricultural products for export, works to detect and prevent the entry and spread of insect, weeds, plants, diseases harmful to the agriculture, and certifies agricultural product quality. The Weights and Measures Division is responsible for testing, certifying, weighing, and measuring devices to protect the consumers and businesses by promoting a fair and equitable marketplace. It also conducts quantity control inspections, such as price verification for point-of-sales transactions and bulk item sales. The Agricultural Commissioner's Office requested that Human Resources create a new classification that combines the two current mid-manager positions, Deputy Agricultural Commissioner and Deputy Sealer of Weights and Measures. This is consistent with the already combined Agricultural Biologist Standards Inspectors series utilized by the department. Individuals seeking advancement in this specialized industry need to acquire licenses in 8 areas, and both Deputy County Agricultural Commissioner and Deputy County Sealer of Weights and Measures licenses issued by the California Food and Drug Agriculture to carry out essential functions of the job. The new classification of Deputy Agricultural Commissioner Sealer allows the incumbent to experience on both sides of the house without having to compete for separate classifications. It also provides the department flexibility to rotate mid-managers between the two divisions. The new classification creates succession for the Assistant Agricultural Commissioner or Agricultural Commissioner position, both of which include requiring both types of licenses, agricultural and weights and measures. A majority of our survey counties have taken a similar approach to combining the classifications. Human Resources shared the new class with San Joaquin Management Association on October 24th, and the labor organization responded with no objections to the draft class specifications. Agricultural Commissioner Kamal Bagari is available and participating remotely should you have any questions of the department. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Is at present time you have an agriculture commissioner for weights and measures, and you have one for agriculture, is that correct? I'm sorry, do you hear me? I don't think she hears.
Yes. No, I can. I wasn't sure if that was for Molly or for myself. So currently, we have 5 positions at mid-management level. I can hear myself. There's a feedback. I'm sorry.
We hear you fine. But-
Okay, so there are 4 deputy agriculture commissioners and 1 deputy sealer of weights and measures. And all 5 mid-management level positions actually are supervising inspectors who are required to have licenses in both agriculture as well as weights and measures disciplines. So basically, some people might not at the management level have all licenses to be supervising or signing documents. For example, my deputy sealer cannot sign anything for the agricultural programs because he doesn't have deputy agricultural commissioner's license. So we are trying to make it consistent as the person is moving up into the mid-management level.
Okay, I'm looking at our organizational chart that you put on there. Could you have that in front of you too?
I can answer the question,
Okay.
means I know
Good.
which positions are there.
What I,
yes.
it is, as I look at the chart, at the top, it's Agriculture Commissioner's Office. Is that a position there, or is that the head person? Or I see underneath that, there's the Agricultural Commissioner Sealer of Weights and Measures, 1 position there. Which one is the top position?
Agriculture Commissioner / Sealer, that's my title.
Oh, okay, I see. That's your title, and you're the head of it. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry, everyone. If there are no other questions, I did have a comment, which I just wanted to address to you. I think what you're looking to do is excellent. When I read through, you're looking for consistency, you're looking for the rotations, thinking of future succession planning. I mean, that's just absolutely commendable, and I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If there are no other questions, we can move forward with a motion to approve, but if you do still have a question, certainly we can entertain that.
I have no other questions, and I'll move that we approve the position as presented. I'll second.
Okay, great. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, and the motion is passed. We're ready for the next one.
Molly Boone Sledigan for Human Resources. This is for classification project 23-09, Healthcare Services, San Joaquin Health, and San Joaquin General Hospital. Healthcare Services requested to modify the senior licensed vocational nurse with characteristics to distinguish it as the lead position and to allow for use across county departments. Subsequently, San Joaquin County General Hospital submitted a request for Human Resources to review the minimum qualifications, specifically the number of years required to qualify. Human Resources collaborated with the subject matter experts from Healthcare Services, San Joaquin Health, and San Joaquin General Hospital to update both class specifications, including updating typical duties, clarifying class characteristics for the senior licensed vocational nurse, and reducing the number of years of experience for the senior LVN from 5 years to 3 years. A survey of comparator counties revealed that the number of experience to qualify for the senior LVN varied greatly. A subject matter expert shared Brenner's novice to expert model, which demonstrates a concept of how nurses develop skills and understanding of patient care over time. The model is based on Dreyfus's theory of skills acquisition, which assumes that the longer a person practices, the more competent that person becomes at a job or task. The 5 levels of nursing experience in Brenner's model are novice, advanced beginner, competent, proficient, and expert. In the model, it is the 3rd year where the individuals are competent and demonstrating improved decision-making and ability to lead others. It is based on this model that HR is recommending that the number of years to qualify for the senior LVN be reduced to 3 years. Amendments to the LVN and senior LVN classification includes listing additional certifications that may be required dependent upon assignment in the medical units. For the senior licensed vocational, additional duties include acting in a lead capacity and participation in carrying out management objectives. The classification specifications for the licensed vocational nurse and senior licensed vocational nurse was shared with SEIU on October 23rd, and the union responded with no issues. Available on the line is Perioperative Services Director Debbie Cocola from San Joaquin General Hospital. Should you have any questions of the department?
Thank you. I do have a question, so, and thank you for being here. Is the idea then that most people, most of these nurses will come in, and by the time they're in their third year, they'll be able to advance? Not, excuse me, that's not what I'm asking. Of course, they'll be able to advance to senior, but is the idea that most of them will? Uh-oh.
Ms. Cocola, I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry, my bad. So yes, the idea is that the staff would be able to advance to a senior level position. There is no other career ladder for an LVN at this time. It's just going from being an LVN, and that's it. So most other things like the nursing staff goes through 1 through 5. SPD techs have 2 levels. OR techs have 3 levels. I think it's fair for an LVN to be able to have more than 1 level.
Okay, thank you. That was what I thought, but I appreciate the clarification.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes. What about the rest of the commission? Anyone have any questions?
I do. Just on the front page where your reasons for recommendation, you say the BHS requests asked for senior blah, blah, but is that Bureau of Health Services? BHS?
That would be behavioral health services. So that's the other entity that has LVNs.
Okay. Behavioral Health Services. I see, okay.
Ruben, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
No, I'm still reviewing it. It just concerns me. I do have a statement. It just worries me a little bit when we're talking about healthcare and lessening the qualifications to take care of people in the healthcare industry. Is that going to affect the quality of work that's going to be done?
That's an
I'm
excellent question for
concerned about
Debbie,
that.
yes.
So when I look at things that the way they are for other healthcare providers within the system, for instance, a staff nurse 1 after 6 months moves to a staff nurse 3. A staff nurse 3 in a year can move to a staff nurse, or in 2 years can move to a staff nurse 4. An OR tech after 1 year can move to a staff OR tech 2, but we're restraining the LVNs and keeping them for 5 years. And so I actually asked for 1 year, but I was told I could only have 3, reduced to 3. But OR techs are SPD techs also. After 1 year, they can move up the ladder to an OR tech or SPD tech 2. So all of them have been given that ability to move up with 1 year. That you guys, what was being presented to you is 3 years. I think that is way more than adequate.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that answer, yes.
So you feel that that's enough experience?
I think it's more than enough
than-
experience. I think after 1 year, they have enough experience to do what they need to do, but.
Okay, now the other thing I wanted to say is, I don't feel comfortable knowing that a commissioner has said he's gonna be here if we're gonna go through this without the commissioner's input. I'm sure he read the things and I feel that
I
maybe-
appreciate that. There are 2 ways we can handle, and I understand that traffic is an issue. There are 2 ways to handle when the commissioner is absent. One is to hold the meeting, pause when I say hold.
Yeah.
And then when he arrives, we start. The other way is to just start, and then he comes for what he comes for. And it's my choice, given the amount of money being spent here today. If you just look at people's charge-out rate and who's here, which I do appreciate all of you coming here, I think the wiser course of action is to start the meeting, and then when he comes in, he'll participate in the part that he shows up in.
I think we should wait for him. I just want to make that clear. Especially if he said he was going to be here and he was late. Is there a way we can find out where he is?
Go ahead, Donna.
So he emailed me, and I have a number for him, but I'm not sure it's a great idea to call him while he's driving.
No, I didn't mean to call him, and he is in
He's
fact
here now.
here.
Here he is, okay.
But, yes, that he emailed, and in fact, welcome to the meeting, and I really appreciate that you do call us, Mr. Arupula, and I just wanted to practice saying your name, and Rosario, and we appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm just late. Getting into traffic, Wi-Fi, so.
Which we understand and was duly noted, and your concern was duly noted as well.
Yeah, and I think in future meetings, we should get an idea if he's going to be 15 minutes later. So we should wait, because all these people, yes, they're all here, but they're all on salary, and they're all going to get the same pay, whether they're here or not. But this is why we're at 2:30. We're not at 5:30.
And I appreciate what you just explained, and I understand it, but nonetheless, I prefer to start on time. I've forgotten where we are.
We're at.
The commission is
maybe he should-
considering the classification project for healthcare services, San Joaquin Health and San Joaquin General Hospital.
Yes. Well, I knew
To
that,
amend the
yes.
class specifications for licensed vocational nurse and senior licensed vocational nurse.
Thank you. And other than that comment, did you have any further questions?
No, I just think that we should give him time to see if he's got any questions regarding this position.
And I intend to ask him, thank you.
All right.
And Rosario, I realize you just got here, but I am assuming you did read through the classification project. We're looking at the licensed vocational nurse and senior licensed vocational nurse, and so you have an opportunity to ask any questions you might have.
I went through that, but I don't have any question on that. Thank you.
Okay. So in that case, I'll entertain a motion to approve the classification project CP 23019 to amend the classification specifications for the licensed vocational nurse and senior licensed vocational nurse.
A motion.
I second his motion.
All those in favor say aye.
I
Those opposed? Okay, the motion passed. Thank you. And
Thank you.
yes, and thanks again for being here and answering our questions. We really appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.
We are ready for the third classification project.
Chair Lofstrom, Commissioners, Amy Brimmer, Human Resources. The third classification item on today's agenda is asking that you adopt a new classification for District Attorney Investigative Sergeant, retitle and amend the classification of District Attorney Investigator 3 to District Attorney Investigative Lieutenant, and amend the classification for District Attorney Investigator 2. The District Attorney's office includes a Bureau of Investigation which supports the prosecutorial and law enforcement endeavors of the District Attorney. As such, incumbents of the Bureau's District Attorney Investigator Series consist of statutory peace officers under California Penal Code 830.1. Within the District Attorney Investigator Series, classifications currently provide for entry, journey, working supervisor, and one single incumbent management level. In addition to investigators, The Bureau has civilian support and paraprofessional legal staff, all totaling composite of approximately 70 positions. Based on a study of the investigator work group, it was found that the intended supervisory level was focusing support more with fulfilling administrative and management needs, and that first level supervision of line staff was, if you will, secondary. Probably not the best way to articulate that, but this combined with the span of control issues with the larger organization that has grown a bit in the past several years, as well as survey of other counties' investigation division structure and their naming conventions, led to a recommendation of adding a clear first-line supervisory classification using the sergeant title, and then retitling and amending the current district attorney investigator 3 level to be referred to as lieutenant, which will better reflect the managerial and programmatic nature of the work being performed by that existing classification. During this process of establishing the sergeant and lieutenant, we looked at those levels and qualifications and saw that there were a few tweaks that could be made to the journey level, which is the district attorney investigator 2. And those are all the changes that are in front of you at this time. We did notify the respective labor organizations on October 25th, which are the peace officers, miscellaneous, and law enforcement management units. They had the opportunity to review and provide input, and we exchanged in that regard as well. We do have District Attorney Ron Freitas, Assistant District Attorney Rick Price, and then we also have the Interim Chief District Attorney Investigator Brian Scott available should you have questions for their office.
Thank you, and thank you again for coming in person. So if we turn to, you may or may not have it in front of you, but it's your flow chart. Did you want to come up here and say something? Sure. Okay.
Chair Lofstrom, Vice Chair Gutierrez, members of the commission, thank you very much for this opportunity to address you. This is something we've been working on, even though I've only been in office for 311 days, who's been counting, but we've been working on this actually as part of my transition for well over a year, and it's been something that the agency has been doing for quite a while. I'll tell you a little bit about my agency. We have 300 employees, 97 of which are attorneys, 60 of which are sworn police officers. I have my own police department. They have 14 different aides. Then I have additionally about 40 victim witness advocates, and the rest are support individuals that fill clerical, IT, fiscal responsibilities. So wide range of individuals, but we're here to talk about my police department. Police department has only had one level of supervision, which was the lieutenant, and those were called a district attorney 3. Now to mimic what we see in law enforcement, we would like to create a sergeant's position, and by creating that, that would be 4 positions that would be a ground level supervisors. Keep the lieutenant's position, we're cleaning that up and now calling that 3 instead of 3, it's actually going to be called a lieutenant. And then we're doing housekeeping on the district attorney 2, which is our boots on the ground police officer or investigator, if you will. As Ms. Brimmer pointed out, this has been reviewed by an HR classification study. We also conducted an independent study that recommends that this is a very good way of running our railroad. Also, we have the full support of HR, and we're very excited about doing this. So I think this creates a good path for promotion and succession and supervision in our organization. And I'm open to your questions.
Good, thank you, and again, thanks for coming. So
I obviously didn't know that there was a Zoom option, otherwise I may have taken advantage of that, but
oh, I see.
in the 311 days, but no, we're just across the street. I'll always prefer to be here in person.
We appreciate it. So this one was hard for me just because it's outside my scope of experience, and so I thought I understood it till you just started talking. So my understanding, and then retell me again, Do you have your flow sheet? Can you hand it to him?
This actually might be larger if you have that.
This is the 23-24 org chart that I'm looking at.
I have it 2 pages per, so
Here we go.
there you go.
Yes.
So when I look at the top organization level of all the units, so what I'm seeing, like in the bottom far left one is 1.0 DA Investigator 3. So my understanding is that position will now be a sergeant. Is that right? Or is it actually going to be a lieutenant?
That's going to be the lieutenant.
Okay, so where does the sergeant fit in?
The sergeant's going to be a new line below the lieutenant,
Okay,
and we're creating that. That's going to be a first-time new position in the county. And obviously, we've had sergeants in all of our other law enforcement agencies. The sheriff's office has run sergeants for quite a bit of time. This is a model that was pretty old. I think it's when the district attorney's office only had maybe a dozen investigators. Now that we're doing so much more work, either finishing up the investigations for other agencies, getting them trial ready, or being first responders as we are for our public corruption unit or our fraud units. So with this larger model, having a sergeant level between the 1.0 DA Investigator 3 and the line investigators is a good idea.
okay, and then just one other question. I should tell you, this makes sense to me. I'm in favor of it. I just need understanding. So the lieutenant will supervise the sergeant, and then the sergeant will supervise the other units, or will they more like share, or what's the vision?
It will be a shared responsibility, exactly.
Okay, okay. And I think that's all I had. If either of the other three have any questions?
I want to thank you for taking time to be here in person. That's really nice to see you. And I do want to help, if you can help me clarify
course.
some things. Well, all of these positions, they also request warrants, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, search warrants and arrest warrants,
Yeah.
like the police do and the sheriffs do too. Now, when they do that, what is the document that they have to take with them?
an affidavit,
It's an affidavit.
yes.
Okay, now, in that affidavit, it has to be signed under penalty of perjury?
Absolutely.
It does. Had it come to your attention that there was a problem, I guess within the month or last month or sometime, where a judge refused to sign because it wasn't signed under penalty of perjury?
You know what, I did hear that in passing.
You heard that. And
It wasn't one of our agencies, I think, but it was brought to my attention.
okay, and it's my understanding that, I know it wasn't your agency.
Right.
But the person, police officer, said that our superiors have interpreted the law differently than you. Who interprets the laws?
The judges interpret the laws.
Just
so,
judges, huh?
yeah.
Do any other government employees interpret laws?
We obviously give legal advice in an advisory role. In that situation, for example, the judge could have actually spoke to the individual on the phone or in person, swore him in, and took the affidavit under penalty of perjury. But it is our policy that search warrants will be under the penalty of perjury. That's
Okay.
good.
And it'd be your position that you wouldn't want to see in job specifications or duties or tasks that the person, that officer has the authority to interpret laws, correct?
That is exactly right.
Right.
I have 100 attorneys that you pay very, very well to interpret laws, make those decisions.
All right. I just wanted, I think it's very important that I think that because of the separation of powers between our government that's so important.
You know, you bring up a very good point, Vice Chair Gutierrez. In addition to being the CEO of the largest law office in the county and the chief law enforcement officer of the county, I represent the people of the state of California. And that's a very high responsibility for all individuals, not just victims of crime or law enforcement officers, but even defendants and the general public. So we take that responsibility very, very seriously as we do the separation of powers. So thank you for bringing that up.
Good, and thank you so much for being here in person.
Oh.
I think it's,
My pleasure.
thank you.
We're not used to seeing people, so that's why we keep going, wow, thank you.
Well, maybe HR will have more things on the agenda for me. Who knows?
I think other people know about Zoom, so. So are there any other questions? If not, I can entertain a motion to approve.
Yeah, I just have one question, small question. This was my understanding, sir. So there are a lot of classification I'm seeing here, different type of jobs. Is the new creation, is it needed or somebody already existing that can take over?
That's a very interesting question, Commissioner. What we've seen is that the office attempted this by paying work out of class to certain individuals, and we saw that it was successful. So, and based upon the classification study by HR and our independent study by a post-certified expert, it is very much needed and it'll be very useful.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Very good question. Thank you.
So these will be new and competitive positions?
Yes.
Yeah, nice, okay.
I'll move that we approve it as presented. It was very well done.
And do I hear a second?
Yeah, I can second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to watch the rest of the meeting on Zoom, so.
Thank
Nice
you.
afternoon.
I was hoping he'd present the next one. All right. Okay, the fourth and final classification item on our agenda today is for the Human Resources Department. And this is to adopt the classification specification for Senior Position Control Technician. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Here we have that HR is requesting to add a lead level classification to its unit of staff that provide review, guidance, and audit of countywide personnel actions and documents. This specialized technical unit will also be integral in the establishment of the county's new enterprise resource system. So this is probably the third or fourth time that you've heard that. It's quite a big deal. I don't know if our new commissioners have heard that each time, but there's been a lot of organizational need identified in order to implement this multi-year, upward toward a decade almost, project, and then of course moving forward and leveraging it well in the future. So beyond that. And having a lead role in this particular unit available at the technical level in particular to represent position control will be integral in the success of that implementation for the system and then the ongoing utilization of it as well, both internally to human resources, but as well as serving as a subject matter resource for users in all the various county departments. Senior Position Control Technician will also provide succession opportunity in this, again, specialized area of human resources where qualified candidate pools are typically small, and we need to look to grow our own in this regard for the most part. All of classifications in human resources are designated as confidential, and therefore they are unrepresented, so there was not a labor organization with which to confirm.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm wondering where else we're going to go with this enterprise resource system. It's interesting to follow it as it progresses through. I don't myself have any questions. Do any of the commissioners have a question?
No.
No, I'm still trying to understand what it is.
I know, eventually we will. And actually, this one, I think, made it more clear to me personally, reading through the job description, and I'm beginning to understand it. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the classification project, CP 23026.
I can make a motion to approve that.
And a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and oppose? The motion has passed. And that concludes
And I will
our
thank you for
class.
approving that one since
Sorry.
it helps my team, so thank you.
Yes. All right, let's see.
We're moving on to public
thank you.
comment. There is no public comment at this time by way of email. Is there anyone here that would like to make public comment? No public comment.
Okay, a reminder that our next meeting is December 11th, and with no other business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you. December the 11th, December 13th.